Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. We'll get it started in just a few minutes here. I want to give a few more people an opportunity to sign on. Hopefully you all can hear me okay. All right. Well, looks like we've got just about everyone on here, so we'll go ahead and get started. Again, good evening. Thank you so much for joining us today to talk all about river cruising and specifically river cruising with AmaWaterways. So without further ado, I will love to go ahead and get started. I have our first slide here. Hopefully it's showing okay there. The rivers continue to flow. So we know that things are on what we'd say is kind of pause right now, but things are kind of finally starting to look up just a bit. And so really excited to start really getting you dreaming again, excuse me, and bringing those rivers to life. Now, I know that many of the times we'll have a number of ocean cruisers who have maybe heard a little bit about river, may not be as familiar with river. And so I always love to start with this slide. And it says, oceans take you to countries and rivers take you through them. And I think it's such a special slide because it really puts the two into perspective. Because those ocean cruises will only take you to the countries of which you're visiting, while your river cruise will take you right through the middle of the country with this accessibility on both banks of the river, where you really get an opportunity to dive into the local culture. Now, just want to get right on into it, starting off with a little bit about our story. So many have heard of River, but may not have heard of AmaWaterways, and that's okay. We're a small family-owned company that is American-based. We're actually here in Calabasas, California. As you can see here, we've got some sunny weather outside. It's a beautiful day. But yes, family owned and operated, founded back in 2002 by 3 different families. And so you have on the far left, Rudy Schreiner, and next to him there is Christine Karst. And then over to the right there, you have Gary Murphy. And it was actually his father, Jimmy Murphy, who helped found the company with Christine and Rudy. Now, just to tell you a little bit about Rudy, because he's the leader, he's at the helm of everything. He is the co-founder and president. He was born in Vienna, really right there at the heart of the Danube. And actually, Christine was born in Austria. So they really bring that love of the rivers to this, to AmaWaterways. But 45 years ago, Rudy traveled to South America, and it was for a journalism assignment on the Amazon. And what he decided to do was create basically his first ship. He had to build a raft out of whatever was available around him. So he built this raft and he sailed up and down the Amazon River for 7 months. Yes, I know, it's amazing. So the very, very first river cruise ship, essentially. And after doing that, with the main Danube canal completion, that is actually how he decided that he wanted to start AmaWaterways. A fun fact about Rudy, and this is actually maybe why he's considered the godfather of river cruising, is because he helped to start Uniworld, and then he went over to Viking, And then he decided to create his own family-owned company, which is AmaWaterways, where it all is about that guest experience, really about the heart of the river, and really just putting that guest experience first. So that is actually how we got it working on our end. And that is actually how we became the river cruise company that we are today. So here we are 18 years later, still making dreams come true. So what actually makes river cruising special? Well, I'd love to just kind of go through a few of the ones that are important to me. And the first one is the fact that you get to unpack just once. Now, those of you who have been on a river cruise, you know exactly what I mean. For those who don't, I like to put it into perspective. If you'd wanted to visit maybe 3 or 4 different countries, and then within those countries, maybe visit 2 or 3 different cities, you'd have to worry about checking in and out of hotels. You have to worry about your transportation from point A to point B. Are you going to do a train? Are you doing an internet connecting flight? Where are you going to dine? How about your shore excursions? You have to arrange those, your nightly entertainment. So all these different factors. But with on a river cruise, all you do is you allow your river cruise ship to become your floating hotel. So you unpack once, and I like to say that you allow the rest of your journey to unfold right before you around every bend and turn of the river. So I love this image. I think it's just beautiful to really see how that river cruise ship kind of goes around that bend, how those cities are right there on the banks of the river. So you really journey along your itinerary, which allows you to double your leisure time. So you spend a lot less time figuring out the logistics to get from point A to point B, and during that time is actually a part of your experience. So that is another feature of river cruising that I think is very special. You're docking right in the heart of the city as well. So one of the fun facts about Europe is that they actually grew from the banks of the river versus growing from a city center or growing outward like we may be familiar with. Now, the reason why this is important is because many of the sites that you want to visit, your UNESCO World Heritage sites, a lot of them are accessible right there from the banks. You can disembark off of the ship, take a few footsteps, and be right there near the city center of all of these different villages and cities that we're going to. So definitely a great point there. Another one that I love to touch on is the seasickness. For those who are ocean cruisers, maybe that is something that may have been a concern for you before, but with river, you don't have to worry about that. So I always say that there is no seasickness, but there also is no river sickness. And so I always say that because there's at times that you don't know you're sailing until you actually look out the window and see that there's this beautiful scenery passing you by. So definitely something there. Now also, as you're sailing through these countries, you are right there in the city center. You're right there by these local villages. So you see your crew disembark every day to get local fresh ingredients. So that really adds to that overall immersive experience as well. So with AmaWaterways, where do we go? Where do our rivers flow, the rivers that we sail down? Well, what you see here is basically every river that we sail. The bulk of the product is definitely going to be there in Central Europe. That Central Europe is your Danube and your Rhine. So on the Danube, you can actually go all the way as far east as Giurgiu and Rusay. You can travel up through that Danube all the way through the main Danube Canal, through and up the Rhine River, up through Amsterdam, taking you all the way back down south to Basel. We also do the Mosel River that you see there. And then going over into France, we do the Saône and the Rhone rivers. So Rhone is going to be in southern France. We also do the Seine River. So that's going to take you to that Paris and Normandy itinerary. And then if you're looking for a little bit more of an Epicurean experience, you can head on over to the Bordeaux region. And that is the Garonne and Dordogne rivers that you'll experience there. We also travel in Spain. So down the Douro River in Spain, where you have an opportunity to actually see both Portugal and Spain. And then we also have a few exotics. So we have our Southeast Asia exotic that takes you to both Vietnam and Cambodia. Truly immersive experience, very authentic, and you really get a taste of the culture there. And then you also have Africa. So there's 2 main itineraries there in Africa. You got your Africa Safari and Wildlife cruises that take you down the Chobe River, going to Victoria Falls, Cape Town, Kruger National Park, Tanzania, Arusha. The list goes on and on. The those rails, very exciting itineraries there. And then you have Egypt, and Egypt is going to be brand new for AmaWaterways in 2021. We'll be sailing down the Nile River, so you'll actually get to unlock the different secrets of Egypt and the Nile. Now, as far as our fleet, this is actually a full overall view of the AmaWaterways fleet. So when we say family owned and operated, it also alludes to us being a little bit more of that intimate and smaller river cruise line. Again, this is our entire fleet here. So you're seeing about 1 to 2 ships that are being produced per year. And for us, we really like to focus on the quality of these ships versus the quantity to ensure that we're able to deliver that same exact experience that we're known to deliver on every single river cruise ship in every single destination of which you travel with us. Now, one of the things I love to mention about our ships is Rudy Schreiner and the confidence that he has regarding the way that he has run the company, AmaWaterways. And so Rudy, again, as I mentioned earlier, he was dubbed the godfather of river cruising because he's had just such amazing insight on the industry and just really just about how to move this new experience forward. And with this company, he has had some very stringent business practices in the past that maybe sometimes people were a little bit skeptical of, but in a day like today, we notice how important and why those practices were so important for him. And one of the main pointers there is that the last 10 ships that we have were all paid in cash. And so it really saves a lot of money and interest. We pay as we go. There is no debt on any of our ships. I can sleep at night, as you can see, as the quote says there. So it's always something we love to mention, especially in the times right now, just to know that AmaWaterways is a company that you can really feel secure on, that we're looking forward to a very, very fruitful and amazing future of just making travel memories come true on the rivers. I also love to point out there on the left-hand corner, you see Berlitz. Now, Berlitz is a river cruising guide, and they produce a river cruising guide every other year. And this past year, they rated over 330 river cruise ships. Now, out of 330 river cruise ships, AmaWaterways ships took 10 out of the top 15 rankings. Now, for us, that's something very special. As you can see, we don't have a huge quantity of ships. However, for our at least more than half of our fleet to make it into the top rated ships out of all of the river cruise ships in Europe means the world to us. So I always say that I'm biased. I'll always be biased because I love Ama. I love what we do. I love the product and what we deliver. But to have a completely unbiased source come behind us, say the same thing, but also have the data to back it up is something special. So just wanted to also mention that. Now you can also find that Berlitz River Cruising Guide online. It's the European Guide to River Cruising if you're interested in diving a little bit more into that data. Now, I also love to talk to you about traveling with confidence, as we know that this is one of the main priorities for all of us right now. So we love to touch on the fact that not only have we developed some health and safety protocols, but in addition to developing them, we also had an opportunity to actually implement these protocols and practice these procedures on a day-to-day basis. So on July 5th of 2020, AmaWaterways actually started sailing for local German-speaking guests. So they're in Germany for German-speaking guests coming on board. We worked with one of our partners and they chartered a ship, and we had some guests on board, and they were doing 5-night sailings up and down the Rhine River. And this happened for 4 months this past year. And it has been something amazing to implement these, to get these practices into play, to figure out what does it look like to sail during our current environment. And we can tell you that those sailings went fantastic. I actually have a health and safety video that I love to share with you. I'm going to save it until the end for anyone that wants to stick around and take a look. Feel free to do so, but I do have that video saved for you at the end. But in the meantime, we do also have that link, AmaWaterways.com/travel-updates, that is consistently updated as we go along. It will speak about the face coverings and the temperature check, the clean air filterization system that we have there. And then also, because we had these first sailings, we thought it to be a perfect time to take some footage on what it would look like to sail with AmaWaterways during these times. And so it's our pleasure to be able to share some of that with you. That will be in the health and safety video as well. As you can see here, we've installed some of plexiglass there. You've got the hand sanitizer, the face coverings that are required whenever you're in a transitionary area. Now, when you make it to a more stationary area, for instance, in the lounge or in the dining room, you can go ahead and remove those coverings. You can enjoy your cocktails. As you can see, we've also installed the plexiglass there as well. Now, we don't know exactly what sailing will look like next year, but we do know what it looked like having certain restrictions in place. And so we anticipate that many of these same restrictions will be in place, and we'll continue to implement them until all restrictions are lifted and we are all in a better place. Now, what we've also done on board is limit the number of passengers, so no more than 100 passengers were sailing with us during this past season as well. And then we've also enhanced some of the features on board and the amenities on board as well. For one, we've decided to remove the buffet and enhance the dining by adding private river view dining. So as you can see here, this is actually the couple that chartered our ships. They're there enjoying a glass of wine and their lunch there, out there on the balcony, enjoying the beautiful scenery down the Rhine River. And that is something you can do as well once we start sailing again. And I really love to just show this picture because I think it shows the joy. I think about the fact that we haven't been able to sail all year. I've been with AmaWaterways for about 7.5 years or so, and I've been able to sail with them multiple times. And for us not to sail this year has really been, kind of disappointing. But you see this picture here, and you see the other side of our family on the other side of the pond, and they're there, and they're making those travel dreams come true again. They are exceeding your expectations, anticipating your every need, and their dreams are true. Their dreams have come true because they're doing what they love. And while I get to talk about it, they get to live it, and I'm a little jealous, I must say, but I know to be patient, and I know that one day we'll be right back on the rivers with them, and we can't wait to have you on board as well. Now, what I love about this picture is you can see right there in the middle, that is one of our captains. And I thought this was perfect because this is a picture that we typically use here, and it's also the captain. So whether that mask is there or not, you still feel that genuine smile, and you still feel that truly unparalleled service that you cannot compare to anyone. So that is one of, I think, one of the differentiating factors about AMA is just going above and beyond, anticipating your every need, and doing everything we can do to exceed your expectations. Now, talking about the river cruise ships, that is your floating hotel, and our goal is to give you the luxury of space when you're on board. Now, 80% of our staterooms will have this particular design. This is called a double balcony or a twin balcony design. So this has a full outside balcony on the left-hand side with 2 chairs and a table, of course, where you can enjoy that private river view dining. And on the right-hand side, you've got the floor-to-ceiling sliding glass window. Now, this stateroom here you're looking at is 235 square feet. You will have a monitor there on the right-hand side with a keyboard and a mouse. This is doubled for your desktop computer and for your television to listen to music. So definitely something to utilize there. We have that complimentary Wi-Fi. So if you don't want to bring any of your devices, you don't have to. You actually have something in the room there for you to use. Now, I would say another 15% of the staterooms are considered a full French balcony design. Your French balcony, on that full outside balcony, the stateroom will be slightly smaller at 170 square feet, and that back wall there would be full French balcony, floor-to-ceiling sliding glass windows. And then there's another 5%, and that remaining 5% is your entry-level cabins. They are on the lower deck, and they are lined with these 2 by 3 8-foot windows that are right above the water level. So I like to call them the swan view cabins. And so those are definitely something that you can enjoy, especially for those solo travelers, which I'll tell you a little bit about our offer a little bit later. Now, as you step out of your stateroom, you're going to go down the main hall. Now, the main thing to remember about river cruising are all of the cabins are outside, so there are no inside cabins. So you're going to walk down that main hallway and you're going to walk right on into that beautiful panoramic lounge, as you can see here, that has the amazing views going there around. So this is where you're going to have your port briefings. We'll go over what is to happen in the next day. This is also where you will have your nightly entertainment. So we actually bring local entertainment from each of the cities that we visit to come on board to show you a little bit more of their local culture. But this is also where you'll have your sip and sail cocktail hour. Now, the sip and sail cocktail hour is something we implemented a couple of years ago. With AmaWaterways, we will provide you with unlimited champagne, wine, and beer during each one of your meals. Now, if it's not your meal time, then you pay something additional for your champagne, wine, and beer, and then also for your spirits. But now, an hour before dinner every evening, the champagne, wine, beer, and spirits are all included. So that is in addition to having the champagne, wine, and beer included during each one of your meals. So it's a great time. I like to call it the, kind of like a happy hour. It's funny because it's called the Sip and Sail Cocktail Hour, but the last time I was on board, I noticed that during this hour, we were sailing. So I renamed it the Drink and Dock Cocktail Hour. I mean, I think they're the same thing. You could be sipping and sailing, or you can be drinking and docking. Again, they're all one and the same, but it's definitely something for you to enjoy before heading down to dinner to enjoy your wonderful dining experience. Now, when we talk about dining with AmaWaterways, it's not just dinner, breakfast, or lunch. It is a true Epicurean dining experience. We try to use the finest local ingredients, fresh, never frozen. We also make sure that you have dining options on board. So you can actually decide to eat in the main dining room. You can decide to have a light lunch in the lounge, or you can decide to have an early riser's breakfast in the lounge. Or you can decide to eat in our chef's table restaurant, is what you're seeing an image of here. Now, this restaurant is on the aft of our ships. It is lined with floor-to-ceiling windows. Okay, so floor-to-ceiling windows, beautiful, beautiful ambiance. You can actually see the chef preparing a meal for you behind a glass enclosed kitchenette there. Now, this restaurant serves a 10-course tasting menu. I know, 10-course tasting menu. Isn't that amazing? So I just thought there's something great to mention. Every guest is guaranteed one reservation per cruise, and it's complimentary. So you're not paying anything additional for this amazing experience there in the Chef's Table restaurant. Now, I could talk all about the dining experience, but something about dining is something about the visuals. So I'd love to show you this video of what fine dining looks like when you're on board an AmaWaterways river cruise. How about that? I just am salivating thinking about it. So definitely going to be an amazing experience there when you're dining with Ama. I always like to say that, there's a freshman 15. Well, when you're on a river cruise with all the amazing cuisine, tasting the regional specialties from every city that you're visiting, you definitely want to find a little balance, I like to say. And speaking of balance, I love to always bring in our wellness program following the Epicurean experience, because again, life is all about balance, right? And so what we like to do is also provide a wellness program on board each one of our European river cruise ships. Now, this wellness program features a fitness instructor, a certified fitness instructor like you see Luis here. He's leading this fitness class. So every single day, we will be offering different fitness classes throughout the day. So something like a yoga class, or it might have a spin to it, like one of my favorites, champagne yoga. Or you might do a digestive walk around the track. Or maybe you'll go into town and do something that has a little bit of a fitness twist to it. All of these experiences are complimentary. That certified fitness instructor is available at your leisure. So whatever you need, if you want to have and join any of the lectures or have a conversation with him, then you have the opportunity to do so. So love always just pointing that out, because we know that health and wellness is a main priority. And if that's something that you'd like to maintain on your river cruise vacation, we want to make sure that it is available to you. Now, speaking of doing that wellness program on the sun deck, right behind where they were actually taking that yoga class is where you're going to find our swimming pool. So we do have a swimming pool with a swim up bar, as you can see here. One of the most popular amenities that are on board, especially during the summer season. Can you imagine just being able to sit in that pool, enjoy maybe a local beer, or as you can see here, sitting there and reading a fine piece of literature, just watching the beautiful scenery passing you by as you're sailing down the Danube River. There is no experience like it. So we encourage you to take a dip in the pool. We also have a hair salon, so you can have your hair styled. We have a nail salon on the new ship, our Alma Magna. I'll speak to that in just a moment. We also have a gift shop, so you can actually purchase some gifts on board if you don't get what you need from the souvenirs on shore. And then we also have a library and a cinema on the new ship as well. Now, speaking of that new vessel, it's called the Alma Magna. Now, there's so much pride in speaking about this ship because it is the first of its kind. It has created a completely new dimension of river cruising. So much so that this particular vessel came out here last year in 2019, and its first year on the river, on the Danube River, Time magazine rated it as one of the world's greatest places to visit. I had no idea that a river cruise vessel could be on this list, but I can tell you that we were elated to see it happen. Now, a fun fact about Rudy is that he is actually an architecture. So he actually designs every single one of our ships. So any of the innovative designs that you see, that is all Rudy Schreiner. And he actually said one day he was sketching and thought, why not have a river cruise ship that was larger than the others with larger balconies? Why not? And so he started putting these different sketches together, and you can actually see an image of that sketch there, and then the ship come to life right below it. So this is the river cruise ship. It is the Alma Magna, and now this is twice the width of our standard river cruise ships. Now on the left-hand side, that's just a standard twin balcony or balcony river cruise ship that is out there on the river. So most of the river cruise ships out there on the river, as does Alma, usually puts about 160 passengers. About 150, 160 passengers on board. Now we've taken this ship, we've made it twice the width. And even though we've made it twice the width, we've only added about 15 more staterooms on board. So this vessel is all about giving you more space, making your staterooms larger. So we went to 196 guests, 98 staterooms. Instead of 2 dining venues, we've got 4. We've also got an opportunity to spin with a view. So there's some bicycles there in the back. And I also would just love, I can talk on and on about it, but we have this amazing video that actually shows you just what that river cruise experience looks like on the Alma Magna. So again, the Alma Magna was released last year in 2019. I can tell you it's been one of the best and biggest and most amazing proud feat that Such a magnificent ship. I always actually like to say that the Alma Magna was built to actually magnify, right? To actually magnify your river cruising experience. And so that is actually why it's placed here. So again, when we say twice the width, we have that vessel there. All of those dining venues on board, they're included. There is no additional cost in order to take and indulge in those restaurants. Now, when we talk about those staterooms, I know you saw a couple of images there in the video, but we also have one here of the suites on the Alma Magna. This is going to be a standard size suite here at 350 square feet. Beautiful, beautiful accommodations, very that luxury, modern, contemporary feel. This particular ship, instead of the double balcony, it's the full outside balcony that you're going to experience there. And this is just going to be your living and sleeping area, where the person is actually taking this picture. Behind them is an entire vanity area, restroom area that can be completely separated from the remainder of the room. Just amazing, amazing ship. I had an opportunity of sailing on it with our very own Gary Murphy over New Year's. That's actually where I sailed with Sandy, who is our amazing, amazing extended Alma family over there at Travelink that we set this particular event up with. But I can tell you that the Alma Magna is a perfect ship, especially for those who have done ocean cruising. So if you're looking at kind of switching over from ocean to river, you want something that still gives you that luxury of kind of that personal space, still very intimate, but much larger accommodations, much more public space. This is absolutely the particular river ship for you. Now, because of its width, it cannot fit through all of the locks. As we know, there's about 16 locks out there on the Danube River. This particular vessel cannot fit in all of them. It can only fit in the multi-ship locks. So you'll find that this river cruise ship can only stay on the Danube River, and it will take you from Vilshofen to Budapest and Budapest to Giurgiu, or you could do the full 14 nights or the opposite direction. Now, going into the shore excursions, because I think that this is probably one of the biggest differentiating factors about AmaWaterways and the other, I like to call them friendly competitors on the river. And it's really because the standard in river cruising is for you to receive one shore excursion that's included per day. So we decided that this was the area that was really the most important when you're river cruising, is opportunities to immerse yourself into the local destination. So instead of just giving you one shore excursion that's included per day, we decide to give you multiple shore excursions that's included today. You can actually have up to 5 shore excursions for you to choose from in a day. Now, it's all about giving you these different varieties so that there's something that fits what you'd like to do. And this is why we're able to really do that multi-generational experience. Some might have that culinary taste where they want to do that truffle hunting with the dog, as you've seen in the previous image. Or maybe you might have someone in the more mature age group that maybe needs to move at a slower pace. They can actually go into our gentle walkers tour. We have a regular walkers tour that will go at a standard pace, and then our active walkers tour that will tour much quicker and have some free time after the tour is over. So again, it's about giving you choices. We do equate luxury with choice because everyone's different and everyone deserves to have an experience that's catered to their own personal preferences. Now, in addition to having those active tours, we also have a set of active excursions that we offer as well. So for instance, you'll be in Budapest, and in Budapest, you have an opportunity to do the city tour or an opportunity to do the Castle Hill hike, right? Then you'll come back to the ship for lunch. And then after lunch, you'll have an opportunity to do a couple of different other tours. Maybe you'd like to do the biking tour down the Danube. Maybe you'd like to do more of an off the beaten path specialty interest tour. Those options are there for you to choose from. You're not paying anything additional for any of the tours that you see that are printed in our brochure or that you see online on our website. So that's something for you to consider there. It's all about creating your own personal experience. I personally love the biking tours. I actually love to take the bikes out on my own from time to time. There's a fleet of 28 bicycles on board, so you do have an opportunity to do so. You can either take them off on your own or you could take those guided biking tours. And then, as I mentioned earlier, those hiking tours as well. Now, We talked all about the shore excursion, the experience on board, the different type of itineraries that we have and the locations that we have them. But now I'd love to touch on two of our themed cruises because they're so exciting, and I'd be remiss if I didn't let you know all about them. So the first one is a celebration of wine. You know, when we're talking about having a sip and sail, you got to have a glass of wine with you, right? Or your favorite cocktail. So we do like to celebrate wine with AmaWaterways, and we love to actually compare and contrast old age wine versus new age wine. So what you'll find is that we'll visit through some of Europe's most renowned world wine regions there. We'll go to some of the different cellars and the vineyards to do some wine tastings and wine pairings. You'll have some lectures on board, and you'll also have a host from Northern America. Yes, we'll have a Northern American wine host, either a winemaker or a wine owner that we bring on board. They bring some of their wines and they do the comparison. So it's really an immersive wine experience, and it really creates a new Epicurean dimension to that river cruising experience down these rivers. And you can find these throughout the year, and they always have a really great promotion on them. So if you love everything we've talked about and you love wine, this is definitely the way to go. Now, I have to save the best for last because this is one that is so dear to my heart. It is our Christmas market cruises. Back in 2013, when I first started with Ama, this was the first cruise that I got the chance to experience. And I can tell you it's the one that is closest to my heart. It may be because it's the first cruise, but it also may be because Europe is a true winter wonderland during the Christmas season. I can tell you it's something like I've never experienced before. Having all of the different the snow on the banks of the rivers, on the hilltops, on the tops of the cathedrals, to see all of the different decorations and the lights that are going throughout the city. Everyone is just in a joyful mood, very community driven. You see these different Christmas markets in every city that you visit. So we take you on the standard historical or culinary or active tours throughout the day. And then in the evening, you get to visit the Christmas markets and buy these one-of-a-kind gifts made by the different craftsmen there. You see the steel being crafted. You see the hazelnuts being roasted. You get to try the glue vine. I mean, it is just an amazing experience. And actually, it's a really great time for the multi-generational families to come on out because, as we know, Christmas has no age, and there's nothing like the joy of the Christmas season. Whew, well, that was a lot. So thank you all so much for listening to the first portion of that presentation there. Love bringing that product to life and just kind of getting you dreaming about what's next. Where should I go next? And what would be the next form of vacation for me? We'd love for you to consider a river cruise and allow Ama to show you why we love to be the heart of the river. Now, I'd love to talk about some of our promotional offers and exclusives that we have available specifically for you all who joined us today for this Sip and Sell. I'd also like to remind you that if you have any questions at all, please feel free to use the question box, and we will actually have just a short Q&A session here as soon as we get finished going over these offers. Now, first and foremost, as we know that Travelink has a great partnership with American Express, as do we. And so if you are using your Centurion or your Platinum card to book an AmaWaterways River Cruise, then you have an opportunity to receive some cruise privileges. Those cruise privileges include a $300 onboard credit per stateroom, a $100 spa voucher per stateroom, as well as one extra membership reward point for every eligible dollar spent per booking. Okay, so this offer is combinable with whatever offer we're offering out there in the marketplace. So again, if you're using your Centurion or Platinum card, there are some additional offers for you there. Now, as of our marketplace offer right now, we are offering flying free to Europe in 2021, so free economy round trip airfare. So all you need to do is book your river cruise vacation by December 31st of this year, and for any 2021 Europe departure. And there are select departures where that airfare round trip is complimentary. And if you'd like to add on an upgrade to business class, then you can do so for an additional $2,999 per person. Now, again, this is combinable if you are using your Centurion or your Platinum card. And then also for those solo travelers out there, we haven't forgot about you. We have a fantastic offer for you as well. So instead of getting the free air offer, you may decide to take the solo traveler offer, which provides you an opportunity to travel with AmaWaterways. Now you'll need to book this by the end of the year, December 31st, to travel in 2021. And if you choose a date that already has any type of promotion on it, you as a solo traveler can elect for your solo traveler offer, which only requires a 25% single supplement. So you can book any cabin category. Now that is excluding suites and it is excluding the Alma Magna. But you can book any cabin category from E all the way up to any of the double balcony staterooms, and you'll only need to pay an additional 25% single supplement. Also, a part of this program is a welcome reception for you to meet other like-minded solo travelers, opportunity to dine with the senior cruise manager or crew member or captain. We do seating in the dining room where there's tables of 5, so there's kind of always a seat left open for that solo traveler. So again, a great program. We encourage you to come on board and experience the different rivers of Egypt. Now, to thank you all for joining today, for being so attentive, we do have a webinar special just for you. So if you book within the next 2 weeks here, we will add an additional $100 off per person. And that's to any 2021 or 2022 booking. Now, speaking of 2022 bookings, if you are looking at 2022, we do have our 2022 early booking rewards, and that offer is a 5% cruise savings on any balcony or suite stateroom that you book for 2022. So just to keep that in mind, and that is, again, combinable with your American Express, Centurion, and Platinum card benefits. Now, for those who are considering booking, you may be wondering what type of, if there's any type of cancel for any reason insurance available. And we want to rest assure you that we do have our own AmaWaterways cancel for any reason insurance. This insurance is actually called Travel Waiver Plus. Now, Travel Waiver Plus is something that you can add up until 48 hours prior to your departure. Okay, so up until 48 hours prior to your departure. It is $85 per person if you decide to add it with our medical insurance. If you decide to secure your own medical insurance with your travel advisor, your travel counselor, then you can add the cancel for any reason with AMA for $175 per person. Now, what this does, it allows you to be covered for any reason. So it gives you some additional peace of mind. So if you decide to cancel for a reason that can't be covered by your medical insurance, let's just say you're having a bad day, right? You just can't go, you don't feel like going. Whatever penalties that may be assessed, whatever standard penalties will assess at that time, instead of you actually being penalized for those funds, we will provide those funds and we'll cover them for you in a future cruise credit. So anything not under penalty will refund back to you. Anything under penalty, we'll give it to you in a credit, and it's valid for 2 years. So it needs just to be applied within 2 years of the day that you receive those credits. So a great opportunity there to give you some peace of mind. The other really great perk about this is that the Travel Waiver Plus allows you to do that cancellation up until 24 hours prior to your departure. So again, very flexible, gives you some peace of mind if you want to make sure you secure your booking before everybody makes a rush to secure their stateroom for a river cruising experience. Thank you so much for joining us today. It's been a pleasure. It's always a pleasure to talk about river cruising and just getting to dreaming again of being on the river and really experiencing that second to none exemplary service. So we can't wait to welcome you on board. Thank you again for joining us. Have a great evening, have a great week, and happy Thanksgiving. Bye.
Our world has changed, but the rivers continue to flow. As the proud godmother, of our award-winning Ama Christina, I'm honored to tell you that she became one of the very first river cruise ships to start sailing the European rivers this summer. We want to reassure our guests that you will experience the same wonderful AmaWaterways service you have come to love, with some important enhancements to our health and safety protocols to keep both you and our crew healthy throughout your journey. As always, you will be warmly welcomed aboard. Your pre-cruise health questionnaire will be updated and temperatures will be taken. We will sanitize your luggage before delivering it to your stateroom. You will notice our friendly crew wearing face coverings throughout the ship, and we kindly ask you to wear them whenever moving through public spaces. We have made enhancements to the ship so that you may enjoy yourself without the use of a face covering. We are also limiting the number of guests on board. Our crew will be happy to serve you at your table, as well as provide you a delicious room service menu during meal times. While you are relaxing on the sun deck, taking in the breathtaking views, we are busy sanitizing all public areas, exercise equipment and mats, bicycles and helmets. Our incredible variety of included shore excursions are always conducted in small groups. Even with these enhanced health and safety measures in place, our guests are still enjoying a wonderful experience. Since we started AmaWaterways 18 years ago, we have been passionate about creating luxurious, authentic and inspiring river cruises for every traveler. One of the most important aspects for our guests is the luxury of having peace of mind while traveling. For your comfort and safety, we are offering exclusive airport transfers when you purchase your flight through AmaWaterways. We want to assure you that the health and safety of our guests and crew will always be our top priority. And we look forward to welcoming you on board one of our luxurious river cruise ships soon again.